Hold on a second, guys. What's going on? What's going on, everybody? Oh my god, I hate this camera phone. I hate that, like, I hate that I can't set this up properly. I need a better way to record these videos because, quite frankly, there we go. What's going on, everybody? It's another episode of the Daniels Rant, and my name is Brian Daniels. Thank you guys for coming to watch. I'm going to scoot up because I need to start scooting up and kind of get into the camera here. There you go. Now you guys can see me. Let me make sure I turn off notifications or... Oh my lord. There we go. So today on this video, I'm going to talk about the game Anthem that was just released not too long ago. I've got some notes here in front of me on the big screen that some talking points I want to go over and discuss with you guys. Just things that I've noticed while playing this game. I put a lot of time into Anthem on Xbox. It doesn't really matter what console you play this game on. It's the same experience. So, let's just get right into it. So, Anthem. Which was one of the most highly anticipated games that had a big, huge trailer back in 2017. Is not at all the game, not really at all the game that we saw or that was shown to us. A lot of the trailers was presented as in-game footage, and this game, guys, is not. I don't know. I'd have to say that this is by far the worst looter shooter that I've ever played. This is the worst looter shooter game, without a doubt, that I have ever played. Just because, well, let's start with a few of the basics. So, right off the bat, in the E3 2017 video, the character picks up I have a screenshot of it up here that I kind of pulled some of this information from. Picks up a gun called Jera's Wrath, and it's a legendary vault rifle level 35. And during this trailer, it shows your character being able to pick up this loot and be able to use it immediately. Now, fast forward to launch, which was not that long ago. Anytime you pick up loot in the game, one, you don't know what it is, because you don't find out what any of the loot you pick up is until after a mission is over, which makes zero sense. And I've played a lot of looter shooters. I've played a lot of loot games like Diablo and Diablo 3 and things of that nature, and they don't make you wait until a quest is over or whatever to tell you what the loot is. Destiny kind of did this with the whole cryptographer or whatever the heck he was called. You had to go back and have things decrypted and stuff like that. But on here, he loots a legendary Volt Rifle, level 35, clearly shows you what the gun is, and then he equips it like that. You can look this up for yourself in Google. I don't have a way to show. I mean, if I turn the camera on, you can see my TV. But the player equips it instantly. That is not at all the case in the current state of this game. The loot, there's so many things I can talk about that are just not good. Is the game fun? Let's start with this first. Because a lot of people are saying, well, Brian, I'm having fun with the game. Okay, well, there's nothing wrong with having fun. I just don't feel like you could have that much fun. Everybody has fun. I have, you know what? I can load up Call of Duty Black Ops 4 and have fun just killing things, right? But that doesn't necessarily make the game a good game. We can all have fun loading up any game and shooting things and whatever. But that doesn't make the game necessarily good. If you play Umbrella Corps, you can have fun shooting enemies in that, but that's a terrible game. So basically what they decided to do was loot, which this is one half of the name of this type of game, a looter shooter. They got the loot wrong. The drops are awful. You barely get anything rare. Even in Destiny, at least you have a semi% of a chance of a roll to get an exotic or maybe even a purple. Not in Anthem. This is very, very rare. I not one time did I get a masterwork drop. Not once. And I remember playing Destiny, and this is pretty bad because I'm about to make some comparisons to Destiny, which was the most recent before Anthem came out, looter shooter game. It's still relevant because Forsaken is out. And I hate to say this, but I never thought in my life that I would have to use Destiny and say Destiny is a better example of a looter shooter than Anthem, because I didn't think it was possible to make a game worse than Destiny. And now that I'm playing Anthem, this is actually making me appreciate Destiny even more, just for the lack of basic stuff. Which, by the way, this is Bioware we're talking about. This isn't just some knockoff company. This is Bioware, the creators of our favorite RPG games like Star Wars Knights of the Republic 1 and 2. You got Dragon Age. You got Mass Effect, except for Andromeda. They made some great RPG games. And then they make this. And it just makes me wonder what happened. Like, even EA had control of BioWare when they made Mass Effect games. Those games were great, except for 3 a little bit at the end. But even so, there is no excuse as to why BioWare could make such a crap game. And the thing about this is the storytelling in this game is awful. It is awful. But let's stick to the loot. So we're talking about the loot. I'm telling you guys, I got a lot to say about this game. The loot is bad because it doesn't. You get too many commons and barely any uncommons. They use a color system that everybody is usually familiar with. It's the same like in Diablo. It's the same in Borderlands. It's the same in Destiny. It's the same here. The loot is bad for several reasons. One, there's not enough rarity loot drops. You just aren't, super rare to loot. You're not going to find it. 2, the other reason why the loot is bad is because the guns look the same. Almost all the guns in this game look the same. And I'm not saying like an assault rifle looks the same as a sniper rifle. I'm talking about the guns in their respective type look the same, despite their rarities. For instance, in a game like Borderlands 2, which, by the way, is still the absolute best looter shooter game ever made. Borderlands 2 until Borderlands 3 comes out, but you better not mess up Borderlands 3. I will be very happy if they mess up Borderlands 3. Borderlands has 1,000 million plus guns. Maybe not a million, but a lot of guns. And each gun has its own unique name, its own unique style. They're colored based on rarity. And you can equip them on the fly. You don't need to wait. And this is another problem. So let's talk about... Sorry guys. This is so much to talk about Anthem. The loot is bad. Why is the loot bad? Because all of your guns look the same. For instance, you have a assault rifle that's named this. And it's a common. It's a basic plain white colored common. But you get a blue or something super rare like a purple, and it looks the same. It looks exactly the same. There is no individuality in the different rarity versions of each weapon. Even Destiny gets this right. When you had the Osiris gun, or the gun that, the rat pack gun, the one that had all the rats all over it, things like that. All those exotics. Every single one of those exotics had a really cool story behind the weapon, and they all looked unique. That is not at all the same here in Anthem. That is not at all present in this game. So it kind of makes getting the loot very unfulfilling. Other than just making you stronger. But here's my problem. Take away the level. Take away the light level. Like if we were to look at Destiny, right? And I were to go into a room or into a lobby or even into the main hub, whatever it's called. I haven't played Destiny in forever. And I see a person, and I should be able to tell based on how their armor looks and their gun they're holding, I should be able to see that character, if you will, and be like, man, I can tell right off the bat that their Guardian is a super amazingly powered, high-leveled, high-light-leveled character just by the type of gear they have and the way they look. And the guns they have. In Anthem, no, you cannot. If you were to take away all of the numerical statistics, like the power level, which they have power level in this game, with just like light level in Destiny, which, by the way, Anthem is basically EA's copy and pasted, slightly tweaked version of Destiny, and a lot less fun, not as good of a game. I never thought I'd say that. Take away all the level, the power level, and all the statistics. And if you were to go into a room, which, by the way, there's only one called the launch bay, that is optional. There is no instancing in a public arena except for the launch bay. Even Fort Tarsis, the game's main hub, doesn't allow for any other players to come into their hub with you, which I think makes zero sense to me at all. Anyway, the problem with this game is that there is no individuality. If you take all the stats away, I would still not be able to tell how good, or how high of a level you have based on the way your gear looks and based on the way your guns look. There is a big problem with that. I should be able to tell how great you look based on your level, based on your, not level, but based on your gear. In Destiny and Destiny 2, if you were to line up so many Guardians in a row, I would be able to tell just by looking, not even pulling up their character sheet, which, by the way, there is no character sheet in Anthem. I should be able to tell who is the best Guardian out of all 10 of them lined up. Because I can look at your guns and I can look at your armor, I can tell. That, unfortunately, is non-existent in Anthem. Speaking of being able to equip weapons on the fly, it shows here in this E3 2017 trailer, they picked up Jara's Wrath and they were able to equip it on the fly. You cannot equip weapons on the fly. You can't. Why the hell not? Why can't you equip weapons on the fly? That is something that you can do. That is a staple in any loot-based game, whether it's Diablo 3, whether it's Borderlands 2, which, by the way, is the best looter-shooter game. Borderlands 2. Highly underrated. Because people forget that it has multiplayer, but it's not massive grandscape. It's not a games as a service. That's why Borderlands 2 is great. There is no being able to switch armor on the fly. There is none. Do you know what you have to do when you get all this cool loot? You have to go back to Fort Tarsis, which requires a loading screen. Then you have to go to the Forge, or it does give you the option eventually when you play. You can either go to the launch bay, you can go to the Forge, or you can go to Fort Tarsis. You can go to the Forge, which requires a loading screen, and then a long and lengthy loading screen, by the way, which then you have to go and customize your character. Why is it that games like Destiny, I'm telling you, I can't believe I'm defending Destiny this much. Why does it games like Destiny allow you to simply hit the start button and go right into a screen that shows your character and shows your character sheet, which includes your power level, your light level, overall player level, exactly how much statistically wise all of your weapons and armor give you when it comes to defense and offense, and then the ability to immediately swap out the weapons. Why does it not give you that ability? Why does Anthem decide that you have to go out of a mission? It takes you out of an instance. It takes away the fun of like quick play and like picking up things and being able to use them instantly or right away. Could you imagine Diablo players if you were playing in Diablo and you picked up a whole bunch of cool swords and bows and armors and you knew what they were because Anthem doesn't even give you that, and then it said, oh, sorry, you can't equip them right now. You need to go back to the main town or this particular village, or you have to push start, hit X, and then wait for a freaking long loading screen to then be able to equip your gear. No, that is not how any loot-based game works. And for some reason, they decided that in Anthem it was a good idea to make you have to not be able to have immediate access to controlling the way your Guardian looks and your armor and all this and that instantly, which, by the way, you don't find armor out in the field. None of the loot is armor. At least it hasn't been for me. I have only specifically found weapon-based loot, which, by the way, there is not very much armor. If you were to go back to the E327 video, which it's out there, Google it, it shows them demoing this game, and you see a slew of armor. There's a ton of different instances of or variants of armor. Where is that at in Anthem now? No, you know why? Because they cut out almost 2/3 of that armor, and they're going to go back when this new store opens up, because there's a new store opening up, much like the one they have in Destiny. Because I haven't played Destiny in a long time, so like there's that, you know, where you have to use that special currency to purchase like skins and different types of looking armor. You know, it's basically a microtransaction store. They're opening up a microtransaction store, of course they are, because it's EA, in Anthem at Fort Tarsis that you can use to buy all this cool looking gear that you can't unlock by playing the game and playing the missions, which, by the way, the missions are terrible in this game. They're also cuts and copies from Destiny. The second mission in the game is just like Destiny, where, you know, you have the ghost and it says, oh, I have to download this file, please stay here. And then you basically have to play a defend version of Horde mode, where you have to stand in a certain spot, wait for this stupid bar to fill up, and you have to play Horde mode. People don't pay $60 to play Horde mode. That is not what this is. Bioware is better than this, better than just providing a Horde mode. People did not want a copy-pasted version of Destiny. Just go play Destiny. Matter of fact, this entire game is a copy-pasted version of Destiny, except you can fly like Iron Man, which I'm not gonna lie, that's pretty cool. But everything else is dumbed down. Like, you can't. It kills me why you're not able to customize your javelin or equip new gear on the fly. That's the whole point. That is the whole point of a looter, shooter, or any loot-based game. It does not give you the option to equip loot on the fly. Let me move on to my second point, because I could talk about the loot being important in this game all day. Fort Tarsis. What happened to Fort Tarsis? In the E3 2017 demo, we're given a very vast, beautiful version of Fort Tarsis with the hustling, bustling streets of Fort Tarsis, people moving around, people buying fruit from the market, characters interacting with each other, characters coming up to your character and talking to you. In the launch version of Anthem, none of that. None of that. Fort Tarsis is probably one of the most dead areas, dead game hub areas in any RPG I've played. Let alone, well, this isn't considered an RPG, but you know, in any looter, shooter, or loot-based game I've ever played, this is dead. All the characters just kind of stand like this. They barely move. They barely do anything. They're not. Once again, I keep referencing the E3 2017 demo video. Watch it. If you don't believe me, watch it. This is only 2 years ago. By the way, the Fort Tarsus is merely a shell of what the E3 demo shows. There is no... The environment is just boring. The environment is just straight up boring. It serves no purpose whatsoever. You have to walk all around and collect these fetch quests and talk to these NPCs, which, by the way, the NPCs are pretty boring. You get dialogue options, which is only 2. You only get 2 dialogue options. Guys, this is Bioware. Have you played Mass Effect? You would think, after all the games that Bioware has created that involve dialogue, that Bioware would at least get that part right. I could see Bethesda messing up dialogue because look what happened to Fallout 4. I mean, hell, it's not even existent in Fallout 76. Oh, but you get 2 options. And depending on which option you choose, you get a random amount of points towards a random faction. And who knows what, I mean, if I were to go back, I wonder if I would select the other option. Would I still get points? And it doesn't even matter. Conversations do not matter. And once again, I'm going to reference the E3 2017 video. We were told specifically by a developer at Bioware that conversations and choices in the game would impact gameplay. They don't. Nothing you say to the characters in Anthem affect a single thing. There's not one damn thing that this game influences. No matter what choice you make, it doesn't matter. It's the same response. The dialogue in this game, dare I say, is worse than Fallout 4. It's worse. It's worse. This game hits all the boxes on bad stuff. There's nothing. There was so much promise that the Fort Tarsus had. You know, they tell you about how great these freelancers are. Freelancer is basically the guardian. That's the guy that gets in the javelin. They tell you about how great they are, but I don't ever really feel like I'm this great freelancer that fought in the Heart of Rage. That's where your freelancer came from. I don't feel like I'm that great. I mean, great. I can fly around like Iron Man. So what? But you don't really get that great feeling that they were trying to make your character feel in this entire game. You don't feel like you're that great, powerful guy that fought in this big battle called the Heart of Rage over the Anthem, which, by the way, the Anthem is just like the Traveler. It's this great big thing that killed all of creation. I'm telling you guys, everything in this game is basically parallels Destiny. You have ghosts. The ghosts in Javelin are ciphers. You have a guy named Owen who is your cipher. He's the guy that talks to you in your headset. And he's an actual person, unlike in Destiny where it's this floating little robot, which I thought was kind of cool. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. Same thing. You have guardians. You have freelancers that ride in javelins. By the way, here's another problem I have with the freelancers. It asks you in the game if you wanted to select a face for your character. Right? The beginning. You never see your character's face anymore after that. Not one time do you ever see your character's face in the game. Not once. And I actually took some time to go through the options. Like, what would a badass looking a freelancer look like in this world? So I was kind of looking through the options, and I picked. I've not seen a single, and I've played this game for a long time. I have not seen a single cutscene that shows you out of your javelin. Because everything happens in first person outside of playing in the javelin. I think playing in a javelin first person would actually be pretty dope. Because imagine flying and like seeing your HUD. It'd be like Iron Man and having Jarvis in your head, on your HUD, and just being able to look around. That'd be pretty cool. Imagine this game in VR if you were able to get into your javelin and you had a HUD displaying over your a face on VR and being able to fly around. How cool that would be. No. The next problem I have with this game is there is a lack of any sort of dynamic open world. There's not. It's lacking. The E3 2017 trailer shows a Year 6 gets into a fight with some howlers that happens out of nowhere. It's one of those things I like where a game it causes what's called a random event. Great example of that is, for those of you who have played Red Dead Redemption, you'll go into a town and, like Strawberry, you'll go into Strawberry on your horse and then a guy gets thrown out through the saloon window. And you guys saw, I'm pretty sure, that video I posted back in October of, I was walking into town, it was at night, and two drunk guys got into it and one guy threw the guy through the window and said, that's what you get for screwing my wife or whatever, I love that. It makes the world feel more realistic. And in the E3 2017 video, there's an instance where your player is in free play and you're walking around and this giant Ursix just comes out of nowhere and starts getting into a fight with some howlers. It's basically like watching the food chain. For those of you who have played Monster Hunter World, you'll know what I'm talking about, because when you play and you're out on a hunt, you'll see like bigger animals coming in and just taking out little animals and seeing the actual food chain in progress, right? None of this happens in Anthem. There are lots of animals and big animals, but they never, ever interact with each other. There's no actual interaction within the environment. There's none of that. That's what I love about Red Dead Redemption. It made the game a lot feel more realistic when you would see an eagle would swarm in and pick up a mouse and fly off. Things like that. You see the food chain. You would see bears attacking dogs, etc., or trying to kill a deer or chase him down and things like that. None of that is in this game. Even Far Cry 5 was able to do that. Far Cry New Dawn that I just got finished playing does that. Where bears will come in and they'll kill humans and drag them and stuff. None of that happens in Anthem. You don't see any unprompted events at all. At all. Very disappointing. It feels very hollow when you're playing in free play. It just doesn't feel like this is a very living world. I mean, the strongholds feel a little bit more realistic, but not so much the quick play or the free play or whatever. There's no random events like that. It feels very, very hollow. Another thing I want to get into is the seamless transitions that are missed. They had actually showed that on that trailer in 2017 that, there was a cutscene of your character jumping in a javelin and getting suited up, looked like kind of like Iron Man and Iron Man 1 and 2, where he would jump in, put his feet in, and it would come around him and go over his face. They had a cutscene like that. Not in Anthem, not in this current release. It's just all loading screens. Like, you get into your suit. You get one little cool scene, and it's the same one every time where you see your character jumping into the suit. But that's it. And then there's this random load screen of your guy kind of... There's nothing. No real depth to this game. The mission select is a loading screen. There's a loading screen after you go to your suit on 4 charges. Then there's a loading screen after you pick a mission. There's a lot of loading times in this game. It's just too many loading screens. I don't understand it. Another thing that the E3 2017 trailer showed was being able to call in party members on the fly. There was a mission they did where you might need to have a 4-person squad, and they showed your javelin. There was some big cataclysm storm that happened, and they showed your javelin. You were able to call in, and 3 of your friends would swoop in and land right there, and they would help you. Drop in, drop out play is non-existent in this game. There is no drop in, drop out. It is just very, very, very bad. Which you would think would be a part of a major feature for online play, but it's not there. It's not there. It's non-existent. The game also fails on so many levels as far as the missions go. They're not fun. They're boring. The game feels like it's cool that it gives you the ability to fly in a suit and all this, but it's just boring. The missions are recycled, and there is no depth of anything, and characters you don't really care about because they're just uninteresting, and the only time you ever run into them is at Fort Tarsus. The game is just boring, and that's why I had to put it away. Because the loot wasn't there, there was nothing to search for, the search wasn't there, the chase, there was just nothing. It was boring. Now, here's a big argument. A lot of people I know are like, oh, but it's fun with friends. Dude, you can do anything in life and it's more fun with people. Of course it's more fun with people. But that doesn't mean it's actually good, that it's quality. And that is what we have come to expect from these games as a service models. And you're probably wondering, what do you mean, Brian, by games as a service? Well, what I mean by games as a service is a game that is more of a service than it is an actual game. Meaning that, take Destiny. Destiny is a prime example of games as a service, where you buy the game, it's an initial buy-in, and then then you get all these really cool features that you have to pay more money for. Everybody's talking about how, Destiny 2 is better since Forsaken. But why did it take having to pay for multiple things, multiple DLCs, for the game to get better? Games as a service means it's connected to you have to have online to play it. They offer all these different things, and it's more of a service. And I'm tired of games as a service. Why couldn't this have just been another great Bioware game that had great dialogue, great choices, a friend-enemy system, like they had in Mass Effect, where you could be good or evil? That would have been cool. No, none of that is in this. Nothing about this game is a Bioware game. Nothing. And that is what makes me sad, is because for Bioware to put all this time and effort into this game, they could have made another Mass Effect game. They could have made another Dragon Age game. They could have made a third Knights of the Old Republic game that we deserve. But no, EA had to have them make this really crappy version of Destiny that is copy and pasted. Everything that you know and love about Destiny is in this game, but worse. And I never thought in my life that I would think that a game would come out and actually do a worse job than Destiny and Destiny 2. The game is bad. And if I had to rate it, I would probably give it about a 5 out of 10. I would give it a 3 out of 10, because it's not even halfway there, and it's not even a quarter of the way there. It's a 3 out of 10 for me, just because flying is cool. The stronghold areas look really cool. But that's it. There's no depth and options in customization. There's no cool armor gears that give you buffs and specials or anything like that. There's no depth to that whatsoever. The guns have no real depth to them. They're all kind of the same looking stuff, no matter whether it's a blue or a masterwork. Masterwork is like the legendary top tier version of a weapon. There's just, nothing. There's nothing that I can say looks cool. And then this is just Act 1. If you go to the EA's website for Anthem, you can see they have this is Act 1. Act 2, Act 3, etc. These are basically their plans for the game, the release plan. There isn't even going to be a brand new Stronghold until May. At least Destiny 1 had its first raid in the same week as its launch. And we can't get a new Stronghold until May? No. I think what's going to happen is there's going to be a decline. This game's going to hit a wall, and then the service level is going to go down. I don't see how people can find this game fun unless you have a very low bar when it comes to fun and excitement. For me, as a game critique, as a game journalist who's in this industry, for me, it isn't just about, I don't let my feelings like, oh, this game is fun. No, I'm not saying I didn't have any fun with this game, because at first it was kind of cool. You know, the dodging and mechanics, the gameplay mechanics are great. But to me, I don't just look at that. Yes, I enjoyed playing with other people. But at the end of the day, this is $60. Now, granted, I don't pay for my games. I get my games free to review. So the thing is that this game, I could never justify paying $60 for. Thankfully, on EA Access, you can pay $5 if you have Xbox or on Origin Access. You can play this game for 10 hours for free. I highly encourage you, if you have an Xbox One or PC, pay for the $5 for the 10-hour trial before you just go slapping $60 down, because this game is not worth $60. If you want a great game, go get the Handsome Jack Collection and go get Borderlands 2. It's probably $30 right now. You can play it with 4 players. You can do all the quests, all the DLC, and the Game of the Year edition, the Handsome Jack Collection, comes with all DLC. So you and 3 of your buddies, because everybody says it's fun with friends, which was great about Borderlands because it was fun with friends or without friends. Why do games have to just be fun with friends? Why can't people enjoy this game by themselves? A lot of people don't want to play games with other people. They want to just be able to go in and maybe have a session with people they don't know online, just play. No. Why do these games have to be fun with friends? They don't. This game is terrible. And I will not be playing it anymore. I've not finished it. I've seen that the end boss, I'm not impressed. This game is just bad and poor design. And unfortunately, what's going to happen is this is going to be what wrecks Bioware, because EA done messed up. EA probably pushed this out, which, let me remind you guys, this game was in development for 6 years. 6 years. It took them, they had 6 years to make this game. There's no excuses for that. There's no excuses to that. I mean, there isn't. And no matter what you choose, if you choose free play, Stronghold, or mission, you're locked into that. So, if you want to go out of free play into a mission, you can't do that. I mean, hell, even if you go into free play mode on Destiny 1 and 2, you can still go in. You can instance into other missions right on the spot. You can't even do that on Anthem. If you want free play, you're locked into a free play instance. If you want to go to a Stronghold, guess what you got to do? You got to load back into Fort Tarsus. That's one load. And then you got to go back into your Javelin. That's another load. And then you got to go in to the mission select and do it all over again. Why did they not streamline this process? Why did they not make this easier for people? Anyway, Anthem gets a 3 out of 10 for me. The game is just not. It's not fun so much so that it outweighs all the bad. This game is everything. There's so many developmental choices in this game that I'm thinking, you had 6 years. How did you come to this conclusion? Who thought it was a good idea to not let you be able to swap your weapons out on the fly? I want to know who was that, Bioware? Hopefully that wasn't Bioware, because in all of their games you're able to go pause, you're able to pull up your character sheet, and you're able to swap all your weapons out. You can even pick up stuff right off the bat and swap it out. But why this game? I don't get it. It's like taking 2 steps forward and taking 1 giant leap back. Anyway, Anthem gets a 3 out of 10 from me. I will not be playing or putting any more time into this game. This could have been the Destiny killer. This is what I was hoping this would be what took down Destiny. But unfortunately, this is actually worse than Destiny. I never thought a looter shooter, could be worse than Destiny. And Anthem, you did it. I don't know if anybody should even try to make looter shooter games anymore. I can't wait for Borderlands 3. But you know what's going to suck about Borderlands 3? No one's going to play it because it's not a game as a service. I don't get it. Why do people give these developers $60 to play such bad games? Poor developed games. I don't get it. Anyway, that's enough for Daniels Rant. Thank you so much for taking time to watch. I did notice there were some people in here watching. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Please feel free to leave your comments in the comment section below. Did you play Anthem? What are your thoughts about the game? Leave them below. Do you think it's a worse game than Destiny? Do you think it's a better game than Destiny? What are your thoughts on Anthem? Leave them in the comment section below. I'm Brian Daniels. This is the Daniels Rant. Until next time, see ya.